You got something wrong in your noggin. Up in your noggin. Yeah, so obviously, we down to riot. What's going on, guys? It's the motherfucking kid. You know who it is. Back at it. Here we are with injury reserve. Kind of intense, Grog's passing and everything. Definitely the last injury reserve project. I've really been super into knees for the past month. I just play it all the time. I love that track. I didn't hear Superman that, but I'm gonna go ahead and check it out with the video. Before I begin, I do want to say I'll be releasing a single pretty soon. This is basically gonna be the cover of the project. So go ahead and hit like, subscribe, and be on the lookout for that.
As we roll, listen. We gotta be honest with ourselves. I know, and if you don't, then there's something wrong up here in your noggin. We cannot end this with an agree to disagree.
You got something wrong in your noggin. Up in your noggin. so fucking stupid. Very interesting intro track, we're walking through the valley of death, and talking about how I got my skeletons, you got yours. It's weird. It's dark. I think this is the darkest injury reserve intro that I've heard, but it's not. It's kind of a little tongue-in-cheek still. It's not too depressing or. The instrumental in the end, it sounds really interesting, little bit poppy, kind of almost in the Gorillaz sense. It gives me this cartoonish, cool pop vibe, but it's talking about dark stuff still. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and watch the video for Superman. I really like this visual right here. It kind of reminds me of the album cover. This shit sounds really experimental, really left field. It's almost halfway through it, and then, he's just been repeating the same two lines. Ain't no saving me, ain't no saving you. Really, what the fuck is he wearing though? Reminds me of Drum almost in a way, Drum's sense of fashion. So this beat, it's super jittery. There's a lot going on. It's kind of really chaotic, but controlled chaos, and it reminds me a lot of not necessarily that, the sound sonically, but just the angle at which the track was attacked. It reminds me a lot of something Death Grips or 100 Gex would do. Very out of nowhere, left field, jittery, super out there, but then the lyrics are very, very depressing. Man, they strip what they own, every stone that they've thrown, every blow that you've shown. You can't keep what you stitch until they peep how you reap what you sow. You can't toot your horns, hoot and hollering, but that's just how the shit go. Like, there's no saving me, there's no saving you. It kind of feels like maybe they're talking about the industry, the music industry, how they're just taking everything from them, you know, their words, their passion, and it kind of makes a show of their human experience, and it's like, what are you afterwards? You know, you feel like violated in a way, like they took everything. It's very futile. Maybe they're talking about like their audience too, in a sense. That's all I'm getting from the Loopers. You know, someone got mad at me because I said the Loopers is a new artist, but I meant to relatively new to the scene. You know, like now he's getting recognition. I guess you could say Dynamite was more of his like come up, but still, I think it pans. You know, he appears on an Injury Reserve project now. You know, not 2 projects ago. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like this guy's been out there too long. This this guitar riff, I think it's a guitar riff. It's super dope. I love it. I really like the sonic direction that this album is taking. Damn, an anti-natalist bar. This is very interesting. The Looper verse is very short, but the way he's delivering it is it's very slow paced, so it kind of like makes it seem like it's long, but he doesn't really say too much in here. I really like the end when he's like, "No, my body mad at me because it's going through it," and then scared to have some babies because the world be going through it. Gen Z is super like aware of climate change, all the catastrophic disasters going on in the world, and they're not stupid. You know, they see where things are going, and it's so weird that anti-natalism, you know, this belief that we shouldn't procreate, we shouldn't make more babies because it's kind of like irresponsible for us. It's very interesting that it's actually taken its own political identity within this time now. You know, like maybe 10 years ago, if you were anti-natalist, people would look at you like sideways, and now it's kind of like reasonable. It's like, okay, I understand where you're coming from. Bro, no bullshit. It's really hard to tell what the fuck Richie's saying. I could understand him in the first verse, and I can't understand him in the third verse. Like, the distortion on his voice is really heavy. SS San Francisco. I wonder if it's kind of like referencing the Waffen SS, you know, maybe the response to the BLM riots, you know, it kind of felt very fascistic in a sense. A lot of people were being black bagged in the street for a while in San Francisco. I feel like I'd seen a video going around of a woman being black bagged at a BLM protest in San Francisco, and it was really disturbing to see like her friends are just like, what the fuck were you taking her? Because they just taking her in an unmarked van. I feel like I'm gonna jinx myself, but I have to say that there's kind of like a notable absence of Grogs so far. I wonder if he's gonna have like a strong presence in the project. It's like 3 tracks into it, and I think he's only had like 1 verse in the Superman, but it was kind of like combined with Richie's, and it was just like not really a verse. It was repetition of 8 bars maybe. Damn, bro. Chills. Chills. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so obviously, we down to riot. It's that energy though. Wow, just like you gotta give a moment of silence. That was perfect. R.I.P. Grogs. I like this line that Richie keeps repeating, like, grab everything that you own. Um, it just makes me think of the demographics of, your average rap fan, your average injury reserve fan. They're probably going to skew younger, and, younger people don't own a lot of shit. So, like, grab everything that you own, You don't have a lot of assets, you don't have a fucking house, you don't have maybe you don't have a car. So, like, it wouldn't be hard to, take that with you in an emergency. Footwork in the forest fire. California has been experiencing a lot of forest fires, shit like that. I don't know where injury reserve is located right now. I think they were from Phoenix, but then they moved to California for a while when they got signed. I like that both of them start their verses with like the sense of urgency, and it's kind of like depicting this situation where there's a forest fire. Footwork in the forest fire. I love the title of it too. It's like you're fighting for your life, kind of. You got that nice footwork, that Muhammad Ali footwork shit. It's been my favorite track just because like both the verses are super solid, and like they are both saying their own interesting thing, but it's conceptual. They both come together in a good way. I like the ending to it. It distorts itself in this like loopy way, like it's so fucking dope. This just sounds like a super villain track, and then what he's saying, it's very villainous. It's fucking crazy. He's talking about ground zero and shit. Like, yeah, you could say that it's not edgy to talk about 9/11 shit anymore. It's been enough time, but it still is like among certain circles for sure. So it's just like really quote unquote villainous. Love this track. It doesn't seem filler at all, but again, the notable absence of Grogs is there. Yeah, since the beginning, Injury Reserve kind of had this whole touch and go thing with their appearances. Sometimes Richie shows up, sometimes Grogs doesn't show up on certain songs. Sometimes it's all Richie, sometimes it's all Grogs. Like on Time to Kill the Vibe, it's like basically all Richie, but like that was one of their first. I think that was their first mixtape. Live from the dentist office. So they kind of like always have these tracks where like a certain member doesn't appear. Like on Wax On, I don't think Richie really has a verse. He just does the chorus. Again, this is all conceptual. Smoke don't clear. You try and do all you can do, but the smoke don't clear. I think it's very interesting thinking about some of the songs that were like on Floss and maybe Drive It Like It's Stolen. Like Boom and Oh Shit. Those songs, they're very catchy, very could be mainstream in a sense. And then going to like this type of stuff, and this album seems really alienating in a sense. Like It doesn't really have accessible shit. It's very concept heavy. I think I may like it more for that, just because it keeps going back to this this urgency and like this imagery of fires and the forest burning, shit like that. I really love that. It's got this like alarmist vibe to it. It's not too doomer though. It's like Richie's ending it with like, do what you want to do, like do whatever you want to do. It's more like hedonistic doomer in a sense, like fuck it, the world's on fire, so I'm just gonna finish this bottle by myself, you know, shit like that. We've gotten like 3 verses from Groggs, and you know it's understandable he passed. It kind of sucks that at this point, like I just like really want to hear him more, and it makes me wonder like what is gonna be his last verse that I do hear. Is there gonna be one on the final track, or is Knees gonna be kind of like that goodbye? And I really love Knees. Listening to it with the album, it probably would mean so much more.
With a hole like this, I never could have imagined your pattern still in place, algorithms still in action. As I scroll through, I see a piece of you is still reacting. As I drove through, I still see pieces on the street of glass, still immortalized from the things that happen. Turned to fragments in a figment I can only.
Yeah, your pattern's still in place, algorithm's still in action. Yeah, your pattern's still in place, algorithm's still in action. Like the annotation here says it's kind of like saying, okay, so when a person passes, the algorithms that cater to him were still in place. You know, speaking of Groggs, you know, like the Netflix, his personal user on Netflix. Like if you were to log into his YouTube, it would be recommending shit for him still to this day. I think this bridge is dedicated to his son. I have to click on this annotation to see. Yeah, is survived by his partner and 4 children. So, yeah, this is probably the most emotional song on the album.
After grinder remove, pops up something you would've watched. I'm like classic. There's some shit I would've seen you watching and just laughed at. Your patterns are still in place and your algorithm is still in action. Yeah. Just working so you can just.
The song is so fucking beautiful. It's like this is how you pay homage to a fallen brother, comrade, you know, whatever the fuck. It's really captivating of the time, you know, the time when you were alive, what you did, you know. It's like it couldn't have been told at any other point in time. It's just really beautiful. Like you see yourself hanging out with friends, and you can see it like happening. We all understand these algorithms that, you know, kind of control our lives, stuff like that. I love the idea that Richie was just turn on TV and you know, something was recommended that would be recommended to Groggs, and he just had a moment of like, yeah, he would love that shit. It's beautiful. It's perfect. There's certain tracks here that are really perfect and beautiful. Well, there's certain tracks that are really perfect. This one's just like really beautiful, and I think it's probably my favorite. It's just such a heartfelt homage to a friend. It's kind of funny that it goes from top picks to Wild Wild West, which is actually a movie. It's like top picks for you. Wild Wild West. I love all the references in this shit. I'm Willie Smith, the Inspector Gadget. I'm on the 5G, one click and let him one click and let him have it. High speed soaring. Norman Rab with the Intergalactic. I don't know who the fuck Norman Rab is. They putting up towers everywhere. 5G high speed. The Tonka, same color as Willy Wonka's moving gobstopper, the Grime Stomper. 5G, I'm smoking Cubans. A cool little track. A little off the cuff, you know, funny in a sense, you know, trying to be funny. I'm talking about 5G, like what the fuck. It's a little breather, you know, everything else is just like really heavy. Everything around this is really heavy, so it's just like having fun, little brevity. It's nice.
I was hurting from birthing niggas. Got into my mental, all these little lowercase keys, all these manners, oh please, just call me gentle. Draws from my stencils that see it, now they ain't pretty knees. I'm about to tremble, but see, why am I so? But now they running last from me. See, that's the problem, see, I'm just doing my thing, but then they rockin' like these. To apply, now I'm moving every storm shit.
You know, going into this, I was thinking maybe it's gonna talk about, you know, how like Lil Nas X was kind of like going through this pregnancy thing during his album rollout, and if it kind of like made me connect to, I was like, okay, so he's gonna talk about how he released a project and, you know, it's postpartum depression, postpartum. But I like the direction that he took it in, you know, like he birthed all these little rappers. I like the line of like all these rappers with the lowercase t. This is probably one of those tracks that it just feels out of place within the context of the album, but it is a cool track, so you know, I'm not gonna like complain too much. Just everything around it conceptually it connects to each other, so this one just feels like a little braggadocious throw in like at the end. It's very interesting outro, just considering that the a lot of the imagery invoked throughout the project is kind of like fires, and the final track it's like it's pouring within the phrase, like it makes it like really understood that it's dark, you know, like, oh shit, it's really fucking pouring right now. And again, you know, taking Groggs' verse from Knees and just like having that as the final representation of you know, his craft is very impactful in a way. It's very strong. I think they did good to him. Like they kept up his legacy intact. I think there's certain songs throughout the project that I think are gonna live with me like for a long time. Footwork in the Forest Fire and Knees, of course, top picks for you. Like I think these tracks, like they're just perfect to me, like perfect tens in a sense, you know. And like I just love them so much. But it does feel like there's filler within the album. But when there is some shit like that, it's good filler in a sense. Like it's not bullshit. It's kind of like really conceptually thought out. within itself of what it's trying to do, shit like that. Even like the Loopers track, you know, they brought him in, and it totally works in the beginning, you know, like you don't really feel like you're not listening to Injury Reserve Project, even though, you know, Groggs is past. Near the end, it is very apparent that like he's missing in action, but you know, it's very understandable. He passed throughout the process of making this shit, so you know, going into it, it was always like a question of how present he would be. Yeah, still, I think this feels like their Splendor and Misery. Like, it's so conceptual, and it keeps tying into itself over and over again. It's not, you know, a sci-fi type of shit, but it's tagging a certain like a topic that isn't too mainstream, you know, forest fires, shit like that. I think for me this would probably be like an 8.9 or 9, but yeah, I think it would have to live a little bit longer with me. I think I appreciate conceptual projects a little bit more. Not to say that, you know, just because it is conceptual it's better. Like, you know, there is tracks that are standout here, you know, like I said, Knees, for sure, top picks for you, Footwork in the Forest Fire, even Superman, that for sure. But you know, I don't know how often I'm gonna be playing a lot of other stuff. I think as a whole, it's just super solid though.
Yeah, hey, ooh, 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 yeah. Come right now, come inside my mouth, ayy. Take off my blouse, ayy. Fuck me on the couch, ayy. Kiss on my neck got me wet. That big old dick on the bed. His dick is on like a leg. His hands red, drippy red. Yeah. Yeah, hickeys all over my body. I ride his dick like a Honda. I ride his dick like it's a Rari. Ooh, ayy. Yeah, I got his dick on my cheek. Ayy. I'm finna kiss on his neck, on his body. While I just be beating his meat. Yeah, he gon' nut. Nut inside my ass. Squirt it back. Bitch, I squirt it back. Throw it back.